I see is first and foremost is this is possibly by our map that shows to be in a flood zone. And that creates some issues as indicated by our ordinance, I believe ordinance number 18. So two, when I'm telling you, council, this is gonna be your decision. And so as we go to suspend, these are the things that you're suspending, to move forward. And the other issue, and I know that there's just a lot of confusion, and understand, guys, that's why I really do, and we've talked a lot about where we can go to try to make this easier, better, a little bit more expensive, or areas where we can develop and build houses, because that's the objective. But the difficulty in this is, of course, there's a water line there, but there's possibilities that we're gonna need to reroute that water, which is going to not provide quite as much pressure as needed. And then it's also going to, part of the plat process, I'll just say, is so that we address drainage, we address roads, we address sewer, we address water. And when that's not properly addressed and folks begin to build, we've seen in the past in our community the difficulties that it creates further down the line, because people say, well, this is in and my street's flooding and so on and so forth. But if these roads aren't built according to engineering specifications, these problems arise. And so again, council, we decided to do this, and again, a great and worthy cause for a family to build a home, but it comes with a pretty big price tag later on. And now, as an example, visiting with our utilities director, in order to put a line in down there, it would cost us a little over $250,000 to do that, to loop it and put it in correctly. And so, that's a consideration. And one of the things that I think that we could look at, if there are areas that we want to develop, we can maybe spend that money and put some lines in as an enticement to try to get other things done. But anyway, I know that we have allowed variances in the past, and the variances state that it needs to comply with the purpose of our ordinance and so on and so forth. And so I would just ask you guys, as you consider this, as difficult as it may be, at some point in time, we need to draw a line and say, okay, we gotta go by our ordinance, or simply, council, we need to change the ordinances. If we're just gonna not abide by them every time. So I know that it's not an easy decision, but it's important that you understand what you're allowing with your vote as we go forward. And a key component I want to say is of the ordinance is to protect and to help the citizens so that they don't get in a bind, and building in this flood zone can create certain problems not only for them, but upstream and downstream, as our ordinance states. So anyway, that's basically all that I wanted to say, but I'll open up the floor to any other questions. We already have a motion and a second.
And I'm going
then
to
we'll
say
follow
comment
up.
according to what you just
Yeah.
spoke.
Councilwoman Rodriguez, you have the floor.
We already have houses out there. We just approved one 6 months ago. We've already asked legal counsel. We're not in violation. They're not asking for us to reroute a line right now. I cannot go with the recommendation of the city manager at this time because there's not a solution. If we had a solution, I could deny their request because there's a solution to get their home built. But we all know here, every single council member on here knows, and you too, Mayor, there's no solution right now. And we cannot hold back somebody from building their home without a solution. We talk about the platting. Not any of those houses out there are platted. And these people are already in the process of building a home. Their father built a home 6 months ago. So as of that, my motion stands. We have a second, and I'll see if we can get the votes.
Okay, well, just, it's clearly states in the ordinances the path forward, and it clearly does, and not every, and I know in the past that we've not abided by the ordinance, and that's just my comment, my statement, is that at some point in time, because it's going to be an impact to the city and to future councils if it's not done according to this plan. But as we've stated, I recommend that So members of council, yourself included, get together and let's look at what we need to do to make the process simpler, easier, and better. Still understanding that some aspects of the protection of the citizens and the individuals is key. That being said, is there any other questions from the council?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
As my sister stated, that my sister Yolanda and my other sister have lived there over 30 years. City has never touched that road. There's never been any problems. And you are denying my son and my daughter-in-law and my 2 granddaughters a home. They are homeless right now. Because let me tell you why. Because they have to rent. And the day their renters say, I need my home back, is the day they go homeless again. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager.
I think what she's trying to say is essentially it's extremely difficult to find land here in Pearsall. Extremely difficult. Furthermore, with that being said, with that issue, it's extremely hard to keep young professionals such as me. I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer for 9 years. 8 of those years have been serving the citizens of Pearsall while I was principal. Now, it just seems like there's always an issue that comes up, whether it's flooding. Half of Pearsall's in a flood zone. That's what flood insurance is for. Furthermore, for plating, the plating that he's asking for costs $12,000 to $15,000. That's absurd. Furthermore, I mean, it just keeps coming to whether emergency services can get out there. It's just something more and more and more.
The city has a water truck, they can get out there with their water truck.
Mayor, Council, for my end, again, you know, my recommendation is on page 73. Again, for whatever it's worth, I can only say this, whatever vote is taken, my point is this, and I think we've also discussed some of this, whatever decision is made, 6 or 12 months, my hope, even for the folks here, that we're not here addressing issues that we now have, because, again, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, I wish I had the crystal ball, but I don't. But I think, from what I've seen from prior developments, other areas of town, we're now dealing, and some of the council members that approve these items are the ones that actually are the first to call whenever there's problems with flooding or whatever the case may be with certain areas. Again, I know that's part of our charge as staff to try to.
You just issued a
But
permit
let me
to the medical building.
let me just finish.
Flood zone.
My point is on that end is that, my point is on that end, there is a solution, and I think the council's aware of it. It's a financial solution, it's a cost of money to mitigate, or try to mitigate some of these problems. And all I'm suggesting, again, whatever decision is made, just on my end, the recommendations there is no intent to hurt any particular person or people, that's not the intent. But again, I understand y'all's position and the role that y'all play.
Okay, council, we're gonna call for a vote. I'm gonna ask the Leon family, I'm at City Hall every Wednesday. I welcome the opportunity for you to come talk to me, so you're free to do that.
I'm free to do that, and I understand, but I don't think there will ever be a solution with you.
Well, anyway, please understand the offers. Okay.
Furthermore, there's one more thing I'd like to add. You mentioned that it would cost X amount of dollars to add in a water line. I actually looked at the law per Texas Administrative Code Section 290.44. That 2-inch line would support up to 10 houses. Currently, there are 7 houses out there. 2 of those houses are not serviced by the line that I would need.
And so just,
Also, I have my builder here, if y'all have any questions regarding any of the logistics.
and what we were looking at is a 6-inch loop line, so certainly it's what we would need to put in. But anyway, regardless of that, thank you guys for the
But
comments.
it's probably well overdue because housing is right there in the
Hold
corner.
on, just one side, I'm sorry, ma'am.
I said it's probably well overdue because housing is literally right there on the corner, a housing complex.
Okay. Council, do y'all have any other questions?
No.
Okay, we have a
I
motion.
just have a quick question. Okay, so it's not platted, and so services, if they're provided out there, are gonna be provided, water. And if it's not platted, then
It is like,
when the road is brought up, you know, y'all want the road paved and stuff, same issue again, it's not platted.
They
We
haven't
never
asked
said
you.
that, we never
I
said that we
understand,
wanted
I
to
understand that, I
locate.
understand that, but,
We never said that.
I understand that, but the issue is, the city has policies in place. When you go against policy, let's figure this out. I mean, let's figure out, do we stand by policies or not?
But how many houses are built out there right now that have been there 30 years, that have not, they are following policy. They cannot get it platted
But we're
when
not
they're,
following policy when we do something
but we
like this.
cannot, and that's why I made the motion, is because we don't have a solution. We don't have the solution. They can't go get a plat that shows easement when their neighbor doesn't have a plat. They can't do it. These
I
people
have
have
the
been
plat
out
right
there. They have been out there all these years living there. They have not come to the city and told the city, I need you to fix my pipes. I need you to put blacktop soil on my road. They have done it.
I have
And
a-
us as
I
a
have
city,
comment.
we're allowing the seller to still sell this property knowing he's not requiring a plat because he doesn't have to, because he's selling 10-acre tracts. We haven't intervened as a city yet.
Okay,
You don't want
there
us to
any-
follow policy, but yet y'all issue permits to people who have not been platted, a business, plus it's in
And we
our
have.
flood zone.
Okay, we're gonna stick
And
to
we
the
don't,
issue
that,
at hand.
that clinic that's being built right now has not got their proper information. They got a building permit without coming back to us. And I have the open records request on Bobby's desk.
We're gonna stick to the topic at hand.
My point is on that, and again, council, whatever you decide to vote on this, again, there's implications either way. You do it, there are potential future implications are there. Now, people may agree or disagree. That's the decision. I mean, if you
We
want
have
to-
another item on the
Okay,
agenda
okay.
that went to zoning and they approved it with conditions, which is the same situation. And it went through zoning. And you were at that meeting,
I
sir.
was, I agree.
It's not exactly the same situation.
Yes, it is.
But nonetheless, we've got a motion and we have a second. Is there any other question?
Well, the only thing I got is, I would like to see them, build and go from there, have their homes and stuff. More of a concern to me is, of course, we're gonna have issues, ongoing issues, monthly, yearly. I mean, it seems like we're trying to cover past, council's, problems, and we're getting tackled all at once, and I know that down the road, of course, you're probably gonna get asked for utilities or whatever, but my main concern is, and I wasn't on that council, which doesn't matter, but we're gonna have to extend utilities to the people that we've already annexed, and that's gonna be a bigger issue. And there's already people already there, that we gotta extend utilities to, for a bunch of people, so, that's gonna be a big hit. I mean, we're just getting we're getting hit financially.
We should have never annexed. We can de-annex. So that's not even, that's
Well,
not.
I don't see how we can de-annex.
We can de-annex, because these people have not gotten service. They're supposed to get service within 10 years, and they have not got services. And we annexed again, knowing that we just annexed 20 years ago, and we still haven't given services, and then we annexed again. That has nothing to do with this motion. These people need their house built.
No, I know, I'm asking, because of the financial situation we're in as well, but I'm not saying that, I'm denying them,
Okay, any other council? Okay, we've got a motion on the table by Councilman Rodriguez. We've got a second by Councilwoman Talamontes. All in favor, please say aye.
Alright.
Raise your hand. Okay, therefore, it's Councilwoman Rodriguez, Councilman Gondeta, Councilwoman Talamontes, and Councilwoman Hernandez. Any against? Raise your hand. Councilman Hernandez. Okay, motion passes 4-1. The motion is approved. Okay.
Just out of clarity, just to make sure I understand this, the motion, what all's happened, are we saying, just so I know, because I don't want this.
The motion was to suspend any necessary provisions, to grant requirement variance, to direct the city
Mayor.
manager to assign I made the motion
What I'm
to assign the
getting at is-
address.
So what I'm getting at, if we can assign the address, what I'm saying is if we're gonna require them, as far as the building permit, is there a need for inspections? Or permits at all?
They're getting a building permit. They're gonna come in, pay their building permit,
So-
and we're gonna issue the building permit, and we're gonna give them an address. That's what my motion was.
What about inspections?
Well, if the inspections follows the building permit, that's where it goes
So,
with.
so you're saying that they'll come get a real building permit is what you're saying, and they'll comply with the conditions of the.
That's what they've been trying to
Okay, just
get.
wanna make sure we're square.
Okay.
Good enough.
All right, very good, council, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item 9D. Discuss and consider ordinance number 2021-1101, allowing the placement of a 2001 double-wide manufactured home. Property legal description is 3.803 acres, laying in the Pablo Ortiz survey number 1439, abstract 530 in the city of Pearsall. This is a action item. We've discussed it in open session. I think planning and zoning has given its approval. Council, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I would like to go ahead and go with, make a motion to go ahead and go with the planning and zoning recommendation and go ahead and pass ordinance number 2021-11-01.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to approve item 9D. Is there a second?
Yonder.
There's a second by Councilwoman Hernandez. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Is that area platted, sir?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I spoke to Mr. Roberts, Brady Roberts, and, actually one of the staff members, and I asked for that. We did ask. I mean, the question is, we asked him yes, and his response was none of that area is platted. None of the whole, that entire area. So that's, I can see the point of, okay, we're asking these folks to plat, but, or at least asking for something, and, it's kind of, none of it's platted, which again causes issues with roads, and council's aware of Roosevelt and all these
And for the
challenges.
record, I don't think it's any of these people that are purchasing the land. We have to do something with the owners, and that's something that we have discussed before, with the people that are selling these properties, that are not selling it with easement and just selling them the tracts. We, as a city, can intervene, but there is a motion, there is a second, Mayor.
That's a great point. Great point. Okay, any other questions? We have a motion and a second for item 9D. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say
Aye.
aye. Councilwoman Rodriguez, Councilman Gondeta, Councilwoman Talamontes, Councilwoman Hernandez, all against?
I'm against, it's not platted. I'm against it because it's not platted.
And against is Councilman Hernandez. So motion passes 4-1. Okay, council, the next items E, F, G, and H are all regarding, stuff that we had laid into our budget this year, the financing of fire truck and police vehicles. Item E and F, discuss those, and item G and H, give us the authorization. So we'll go one at a time.
Mayor.
You can see the item in there. We're gonna go E and G together. So is there any
Mayor, if
questions?
there's any other questions, since we did discuss this during budget time, I would like to go ahead and approve resolution number 2021-11-01, also approving, item G, new business.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion on the table by Councilwoman Rodriguez for items 9E and G. Do I have a second? There's a second by Councilwoman Talamontes. Any questions?
None.
Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Mayor and council, on that, we'll be financing that for 7 years. Just want to point that out. They gave 2 options.
Yeah. Okay, and that, thank you very much, council. Now we're moving to item 9F and H. We'll run that together again. That's our police vehicles. Is there anyone?
Mayor,
Yes.
since we did discuss this in during, not executive session, during budget time, I would like to go ahead and approve resolution number 2021-11-02 regarding the finance contract for the purpose of procuring vehicles and equipment for the Pearsall Police Department, and also approving, new business H, authorizing the city manager to purchase vehicle for the Pearsall Volunteer Fire Department
Very
from
good.
Caldwell County through by board purchasing quote.
Very good. Thank you, Councilwoman Rodriguez. There's a motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Hernandez. Is there any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, council. All right, and discuss and consider, or
We get Ms. Worshing off. She's
Sure.
still for the presentation.
which one is this one?
We got her back.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. Sorry. We're sorry out there. Okay. We're gonna go back to, this is 7A. I'm sorry, we should have come back sooner. She should have waved or spoken up.
She was quiet.
All right, council, we've already discussed, this is a requirement of our TDA grant. So, we've got our person from the CDBG. Anyway, take it away. Did we lose her?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes. Hello, welcome.
Perfect, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for, letting me present today, via Zoom. My name is Christina Worshin. I am the project manager from GrantWorks for, this TDA project. And as was discussed before, or at least briefly mentioned, this presentation that I'm about to go through, which is very quick, is actually a requirement